Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
Good, good. It's Friday.
It's
That's all I
Friday,
got.
and we're all back in our usual positions and our usual headsets and setups.
Why
I'm
you gotta
not
use
trying
the
to
word
make it sexual.
positions? Why you gotta use the word positions?
It just
A
sounds
usual-
weird when you say it, man.
That's
sounds so
that.
suggestive.
I was just saying.
It's like
I didn't say it's sultry. I just said we're in our old positions.
no. We're in our
It doesn't work,
home,
man.
our regular places. We're not positions. The position I'm sitting in is just up. It's just straight. It's just 90. No, we don't need to describe the word positions. Anyways, move on.
No, it's not weird when he says it. Only when you say it, bro. And the fact that you're thinking it makes it weird now. I saw you thinking that shit, man.
Anyway, so I'm gonna like take the reins and be like, we're gonna start on a new topic. Anyway, first topic for tonight. So, as undoubtedly everyone knows, based off the view count on YouTube, the latest trailer for the upcoming Spider-Man No Way Home has been released. It was released a week ago. And let's just say this trailer has gotten some buzz going. And I put that lightly because, frankly, for the last week, I have been inundated on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just everywhere of theories. A lot of people just like analyzing every inch of this trailer. People going after like the toys and trying to figure out some like suggestions of this. So nonetheless, I want to put it to you guys. First of all, you both watched the trailers, right?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
So I watched it, man.
So before we go into any of those like theories and like hopes and dreams of what this movie is going to be, which comes out next month. Actually, I think it's like yeah, it comes out like in almost exactly a month. I want Tactics. I'm going to come to you first. What did you think of this trailer?
I love this a lot more than I did the first one. It's got me a lot. It's got me more excited this time around. But mainly because of all this speculation of whether or not we're going to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Like that's really like if they end up not delivering on that, it's going to be super disappointing. So what I'm hoping for, and we've already talked about this in passing, but what I'm hoping for is remember the moment when we watched Endgame and Thor is facing off against Thanos, and then you see the pan shot of Thor's hammer lifting, and you're like, no, like it was coming, but you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. The moment we've been waiting for since Age of fucking Ultron, where you're speculating, like, did it move? I heard a sound when he touched the hammer, but we don't know for sure. And then they show the reveal, and Cap is wielding the hammer and had the juice the entire time, like doing some crazy wild shit with the hammer and the shield. Oh. That was dope. I'm hoping that we get a moment like that where, Spider-Man is like, down to his last lifeline, and things look bleak for this guy. And then out of nowhere, you see, Peter on your left. And then, Andrew Garfield and, Tobey Maguire pop out and they're like, yo, we got you, son. We got you. And then they face off and like that whole opening shot of like, what the fuck's his name again? Tom Holland, facing off against all the other villains. Like they're about to like collide together. And it feels, based on the way that shot is set up, it feels like there's more going on than what we're led to believe. So I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that these guys are in the movie, and it seems like they are based off of some of the interviews that I've seen. And if they are, then I'll never believe anything a word that any celebrity ever says about denying whether or not they're in a movie. So yeah, I loved it. I'm curious to see how they're gonna flesh out all of these characters, what they're gonna do with everyone, like Green Goblin, and yeah, there's a lot going on in this trailer, and I was trying to pick it apart a little bit to kind of see if I could like find like little nuggets. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait for this movie. I'm hype, and I think it's gonna be a good time.
Nice. All right. You said a couple things that I definitely want to come back to, but Darcy, your thoughts, bro.
I mean, like Tactix, I think we're more excited for what's not in this trailer than what's in this trailer. Not we think that these two people are in it, and we don't know because it looks like they're cut out. I'm super excited though. I have a theory though, because I can't even wait this long. So Tactix made the like on your left. Actually, I think the way they would do that. Now, I don't know if that scene would be like the first time they all interact or whatnot, but I think if that's how they do it, it would be Tom Holland's like spider sense going off, and it's just like spider sense across all three of them as they're all coming in like that. Like I feel like that's how you like introduce, like you just get a spider sense that's like it's on a different wavelength because the sense is sensing this other sense, and it's like feedback. Yeah, exactly. I just feel like that's like the way, like, to like, for if that's the first time that they interact, that's like how they'll catch each other before they catch each other. I'm just like, if they don't have Tom Holland, if they don't have Andrew Garfield, then the best thing I still got left is that meme that Umar sent me yesterday of Dom Toretto showing up. It's a picture of like Dom Toretto jumping into the fight scene with Tom Holland, and it's like you don't need like Andrew and Toby if you got family. Just him jumping out of his car. But
it's been a long time without you, my friend.
As he jumps into the loving arms of a lizard. Oh man. He's like, sorry, I thought you had the contract for The Rock to show up in the next film.
Yeah. Like honestly, like Dominic Toretto, like given how the movies have gone, I would believe that if he punched the lizard would feel it.
It's true.
Not even the lizard. If he punched the Sandman, he would feel it.
It's like a mighty guy from Naruto. It's like he just waves his hand and Gaara's sand just goes flying away, and it's like, what did he just do?
I've rewatched that recently. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, I'm excited at the same time, like worried about all the characters I gotta flesh out. But I also have faith that this ain't no Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like just that they've whenever they've done something, they've done it really well. And I feel like I just had the faith that like it's gonna work out. Like they go and do it, and there's things that they won't explain, but they won't need to because most of the audience will know. And for the very few people that this is their very, very, very first Spider-Man experience, I feel like it'll still like have enough there. They're like, they'll be like, these characters from a different version of Spider-Man. Cool, I get it. like that'll be the end of it for them. And then for everybody else with like little kids who obviously have not seen the old films, I'm sure that their parents are like, oh, hold up, marathon time. Let's bring out the old Spider-Man. Like we go watch all these films in preparation. So they'll be really disappointed. They prepping from all that, and then if we don't get, oh man, I can't even think about it. No, let's just move on. I can't do this. Umar, you.
The uproar though when that reveal happens in the theater, man. Oh my goodness. I like we have to watch it in the theaters. Like,
of course.
No. So like this will be like this. So Jimmy said this to me, and I completely agree with this. This is going to be Spider-Man Endgame. Like this is Endgame level. And if like if they don't, okay, how like we were watching WandaVision and we're like all these theories. Incidentally, I still think that Doctor Strange is acting quote unquote strange, and it's definitely Mephisto. I'm just saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it until I get it right. But Yeah. Anyway, but like how in WandaVision we had all these theories going into the last episode, and then like literally like the director and like the show creator had to be like, "Yo, guys, you got to reel it back in." If they pull that shit the night before No Way Home comes out, I don't even care because like I already have my ticket and I'm going to go see it. I'm gonna watch that movie, and if it doesn't give me those three together in one fight sequence, I will lose my faith in humanity forever.
That's harsh, but I can't disagree. By the way, on your Mephisto thing,
Also, can I just say that like for the first time, the Green Goblin doesn't look stupid in that outfit.
Yo, I was just thinking that actually. Like I was gonna say he actually looks really good in this.
I wouldn't say good. I would say that he looks better.
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's definitely like a step up from what they gave us in the original Spider-Man. Because like I'm looking at this and I'm like, it actually doesn't look bad. But like you look at it in comparison to what they did in the first Spider-Man movie, and it just looked super cheesy. This actually is kind of fitting. Yeah, for some, I don't know what it is though. It's for some reason it works though.
Isn't it the same costume though?
It is, but I feel like they've made a couple minor details to it. They've made a little bit like a couple changes that makes it look a little bit more more fitting to this world.
Yeah, like they toned down like the striking aspects of the mask as well.
I'm looking at the old one. Like I'm looking at a picture and like comparing the two right now. And the things that look slightly different, the helmet, the way it goes back doesn't look as sharp. It looks like slightly more morphed to be like an actual skull. But honestly, it's the same outfit. I think it's honestly lighting. I think it's like they like in the first one, everything was so fantastical. They're trying to make everything like really comic book in real world. And so some things just don't kind of work as well, where I feel like they've lit this and whatnot to make this be like, this is a costume. The guy who is fucking off his rocker, but has like superpower is like, he wanted to be a goblin and he made a military outfit. And we have so many military outfits in the MCU. And it's like, he made a military outfit and he made a really big bike helmet, you know? And that's what he's fighting in. And it's like, and at this point you're like, what was the dude that Captain America accidentally like burned, and then he ended up putting on like he had like the fist gauntlets, and he had like the X on his mask, and he put a mask on that was kind of like this.
What's his name? The guy, the leader of the strike force,
yeah.
Rumlow.
Yeah, he was a small character, but his outfit is almost kind of like a precursor to an outfit like this at this point, where it's like he had a big mask on, and it was kind of a dumb mask, but he burnt his face like and all that stuff. So logically, it all made sense for him to put that on. So like this doesn't look that crazy in comparison, but overall, it looks like it's the same outfit just worn. Like
no, you know what it is. Darcy, you pointed it out already, but like the helmet, it actually like this one actually looks like it could be part of his skin, whereas the helmet from the original one actually looks like it's like plastic. Like there's sharper details in the helmet.
Because like they dampened the tint, but also like maybe the quality of like what we're looking at is better.
No, but it's also the structure of the helmet. Like look at the indents on the top of the helmet in the original one compared to this.
Right now, we look at the indents on my head. You might want to bring that back.
So look at this one, and then I'll try to bring up the other one. Hold on. It's a subtle difference, but the difference is definitely there.
It works.
Yeah.
Can y'all see that?
See, okay, first of all, it's really shiny. You can see the eyes are I think even the mouth looks a little bit more wider, but like everything's shinier, everything's more like a lot more brighter. And so the second time around, like with the one that's current is more worn, like you said, but also it's kind of like it's subtler, it's smoother, and also it's not as like
it doesn't have all these details like the indents here, like this,
and the eyes are also not as like striking.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
realized actually I got another picture comparison. I was looking at they're like side by side, and the eyes are slightly smaller in the new one. So
Mhm.
it's almost like the part where it's like the whatever you call this on your forehead, is like how it comes down. It almost looks like it's to actually put shade over the eyes in the new one, where the other one was like to bring them more forward. So then you end up
Yeah.
actually, yeah, you actually it's a little more practical. Like if it was a bike helmet, you have bike helmets that have the little visor to block the light that goes into your eyes. So it
Mhm.
almost looks a little bit like that. Like yeah,
Also,
it's 90% the same and 10% logical changes.
yeah, and like honestly, like I know he's gonna lose that outfit and get a different one. But like I gotta say, like it was great to see Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock. And also like he upped his arms with Stark tech, which is kind of freaky. Jamie Foxx is killing it in the new version that he has. Like I'm glad he's no longer blue.
Yeah.
And also you're seeing from the comics his like old school mask style, and also he looks like he also has Stark tech, which is like he's got like um
Uh,
The
arc
arc
reactor
reactor.
on his yeah. And Lizard and Sandman just kind of showed up at the end of it, but like a part of me would find it interesting. So do you guys think that at the end of this film Tom Holland's gonna die?
Hmm.
Mm.
Because if they do that, it's perfect setup to introduce Miles to take over.
And that would also
Yeah.
go to Tom Holland's statement say if he becomes back, it has to be a different version. Literally meaning a different Spider-Verse version of his Tom Holland or his
He
Peter Parker.
also did say that if he's playing Spider-Man by the age of 30 still, then he's doing something wrong in his career. So I think he's kind of ready to depart at this point, especially if it's not going to be a part of the MCU anymore. But Amy, who is it that's the head of Sony? Amy Pascal? Is that hello?
I
Sorry.
think. Oh,
Yeah, I was like, did you guys freeze? Like, what the fuck? Is it Amy
Sorry,
Pascal who's the head of Sony?
let me just.
Okay. Anyways, so whoever's the head of Sony, the woman that's ahead of it, she actually wants to keep Tom Holland on board
Yeah.
for a long time. So there's that. So I don't know. It's
Well,
hard to say.
like as long as you get him out of high school and put him in like the university or something like that, like let him actually grow up a little bit. Like the fact that he's still in high school is worrying me. But then again, he has been like he was snapped away for 5 years, but still.
yeah. I mean,
Also, I'm kind of wondering because like it looks like from the trailer that Tom Holland is going to try to save the lives of all the villains because like they're like from what the trailer says, they're all picked from a different universe where they died in. But what I'm wondering is, what if it's not just them, but all the other Spider-Man, and we're assuming the Spider-Mans are going to be showing up. And so he's trying to save the villains and the other Spider-Man from dying.
Interesting. What do you
Seems
think
like a
that
lot.
means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I still don't think it's Doctor Strange. I think it's Mephisto or somebody.
But what's his angle though? Like, what is his motive for all of this? Is my
Chaos.
question. But chaos
literally
just for the sake of chaos, and just in this one area.
Well,
I feel like he's
we
more
know that Tom
grand.
Holland is going to move on into. Oh, actually, this is interesting. So if it is Doctor Strange and not because Doctor Strange, I don't know why he got himself in this situation, but here we are. And then if this is going to lead to Multiverse of Madness, this could be basically like what if it's Wanda?
That was what I was thinking, because I heard that I heard speculation that it could be Wanda. Like she's trying to, because in the way the WandaVision left off was she was trying to search for her kids, and
Yeah.
based off of that, she might be tampering with some shit that's affecting Doctor Strange. Because wasn't there a rumor that Doctor Strange was actually supposed to show up in WandaVision and then that got scrapped? Or
That was a rumor. It was never really confirmed. But like, if Wanda is impersonating Doctor Strange in this movie, that would explain a lot.
That's interesting, but I also think that Tactix was saying is a little more logical, like that Doctor Strange is doing this, and in the moment that he's doing this, Wanda somehow interferes, and then that creates like the offshoot effect because Wanda, like impersonating Doctor Strange, feels like a bigger villain stretch for her to make off screen for it to all of a sudden show up. Like we would have to have. If that is Wanda, we would have to have like a whole 10-minute intro of what happened to Wanda since WandaVision, just for us to like feel like why is she impersonating? Because if we just go and it's like, oh, this Doctor Strange at the end was Wanda the whole time, but why the fuck was she doing this? Right?
But it kind of works. Like if that happens, then everyone's going to have to want to see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and we'll probably get the explanation of if she is impersonating him.
Yeah,
why and how.
But that's kind of like Zack Snyder with like him not explaining stuff in his films that pisses you off. Like if Wanda comes in and does this stuff and we don't get a clear, solid explanation as to why she's gone this dark, I would just feel like when we had like the Flash show up in Batman vs Superman with no explanation, I'd just be like, why? What? Like there's just no basis for this. Why? What just happened? It's just theories that we've created, but then no one's shown us.
Well, it could be the fact
I feel like it's more like because the way the WandaVision ended off with her looking for her kids, and also in that same episode when Agnes, whatever her name was, she actually called it out and said that Wanda had become more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, that being Doctor Strange. So I think that at the end, in the end credits, when she's looking for her kids, I think what she's trying to do is she's siphoning energy, and if somebody as powerful as her or close to her power level is also using magic, then it interferes with whatever it is that she's doing. So maybe she did something to interfere with this current spell. It fucked everything up for what's going on in this Spider-Man movie, and now everything has to be a course correction. And Doctor Strange assumed that it was Spider-Man, but really it might be later revealed that it was Wanda.
All right, so here's my theory that I just came up with. I can see it that like from the very first moment through the entire movie, we're thinking that it's Doctor Strange, and then at the very end, it shows that he's actually not Doctor Strange, it's Wanda, and then it's kind of like she has him, and also look, there's ice or snow all over the place in the Doctor Strange house. What if she has been testing stuff to be able to get her kids, and she knows Peter because they all fought in Endgame together. They're all at the funeral together, and he comes to her being like, thinking it's Doctor Strange, but he comes to her basically saying, "Yo, I need some help." And Wong is like, "Don't use that spell," and she's like, "Absolutely, yo, I'm gonna help you out, little guy." And then it just like causes a whole lot of shit.
I mean, that's possible. I feel like that could be an end credit reveal where, like, similar to what they did in the second, I think it was the second Spider-Man, where Nick Fury wasn't actually Nick Fury, it was actually a Skrull.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with Darcy in the sense of like it seems like such a far stretch to make her that much of a villain in this.
But it wouldn't be a villain. It'd just be like her just doing something that's not heroic. But like at the same time, like it looks like she's trying to undo the damage she did, while also working with Peter. But it's just like the fact that she's like impersonating Doctor Strange in order to like use whatever she has from his house that she needs.
The thing I have a problem with it being Wanda is that, like, okay, so it's like the Nick Fury thing, right? The Nick Fury thing is not core to that movie. It's just an Easter egg to set up something for the future. And when we get to that movie or that movies, right, whatever how it has to work, we're gonna get the explanation about like probably why and when he started switching with the Skrull and whatever. Like we'll get some more information. But what they've given us at that point is like, oh, that's super exciting, but doesn't fundamentally or do anything to the movie that we watched that it came in. This one's like, we watched this whole film. If you put it as an end credit scene, it's like, so the whole premise of this film, like one of the pivotal characters everything was around, is not what the story you just gave me. But you're
But that's
also,
exactly that.
but you're not going to
Exactly
explain
what
it either.
happened. But that's exactly what we've already experienced before in a Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like it'd be the same kind of formula, right? Like because then
It's
that
like,
end
it would
credit
literally
scene
be
would
no
lead
different.
up to the next movie, which would be the Multiverse of Madness.
But what movie did that happen in already? Sorry, what?
In Far
No.
From Home, with the Nick Fury reveal.
Yeah, because you're
That
saying
was-
because basically what you're saying is that end credit scene wasn't pivotal to the rest of the storyline. It was actually just to set up a future movie. But you can make the same argument for Umar's point as well, in that the end credit scene for this would set up for Multiverse of Madness, because that end credit scene would be a reveal that changes everything, changes our perspective of what just happened, similar to the Nick Fury thing, because we assumed that was Nick Fury in the second movie. Then it turns out to be a Skrull. So now we're like, oh, so that wasn't Nick Fury this entire time.
Yeah, I don't know. I still just don't like it, because I just don't like how it's like, if she's gone this dark and she's being manipulative, I want to know
It's not that
more.
dark though. It's like, in comparison to what she was in like WandaVision, it's essentially the same level, if not a little bit less.
I feel like it's just lazy, because I feel like we've already gotten a setup for Multiverse of Madness with WandaVision, but I guess because it was a TV series and you'd have to assume that everyone's seen the TV series to know what's going on, that they might want to shoehorn Wanda in the movies as well, so everybody is aware of the impact that Wanda has right now. So I mean, I'm kind of torn between both you and Darcy at your points, so I don't know.
Yeah,
fair enough. All right, any final thoughts before we move on?
Fucking Andrew and Toby better be in this damn movie.
Yeah.
I mean, what we go like Captain America. I don't know. That's what we're gonna do. That's it. That's all I got.
Sorry, my internet keeps going in and out. What did you say?
Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
we good.
We're
You
moving
can
on.
His internet is.
All right, I'm just gonna move on.
All right.
Honestly, my internet's going out at the worst possible time.
It's all good. It's all good. Proceed. Okay. Darcy, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so let's move into our next topic. We're looking at the Power Rangers universe, which ironically...
Right, I'm back.
He's back! Thank God, because I don't know anything about this topic. I was just about to say that.
Thank you, Darcy, for covering for me. So I'm back for who knows how long, but nonetheless. So an announcement came out earlier this week that we remember all the live action Power Rangers movie that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So Netflix has decided that they are now going to do an interconnected universe for this franchise, and that film is the startup, and we're going to start seeing like TV specials and TV shows or other movies and sequels and spin-offs. I want to know what you guys have to say about this. So, Darcy, let's go with you.
Clarifying questions. Same actors from that movie we just saw a couple years back?
Possibly.
Okay.
Very possibly.
So potentially completely different cast, but like that event happened, and
yes,
maybe like that event happened, then they failed, and we need all new Power Rangers, and then we kind of move on from there. But okay, and then is it all going to be live action, or when this interconnected universe would we get like cartoons and stuff like that?
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do like some animes and stuff, but currently all they've said is it's going to be a multiple series and movies interconnected universe. It's like they're trying to do their own MCU for Power Rangers on Netflix.
Umar struggles to make that sense.
I'm taking it seriously.
Yeah, I'm taking it. Yeah, totally, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a smart financial move. And I don't care that much until I see something that makes me care. Like, you know what's ironic? Every time we get these like random topics, and it has to be like the YouTube algorithm, people are just like going ham on it. But randomly, I saw some like old clips, and I was like, it was like, oh, when the White Ranger was revealed, and I was like, oh, let me watch this for a second. And then there was this one where it was like all these random Power Rangers from different years, and like this one dude who's old with like a gut. And I'm like, what Power Ranger is this guy? He is not in shape for Power. He must be the OG that like they kidnapped from the couch to come into this battle. and then they're all there, and then like the Green Ranger, like the same guy. It's, every one of these ones is always about that dude, because the one legend in the whole Power Ranger universe is
He's
the guy
carrying this whole thing, bro.
Yeah. But he came out of nowhere, and he was like invisible and running at super speed. But you know, like television super speed, where it's like they're running really fast, but it feels really slow because they're filming it wrong. So he came out and beat a bunch of people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's you!" I forget his name, and like Tommy or whatever, right? And everyone's like super enthusiastic and like an uberly like 90s white person way, like it just never was realistic. And it's just like, I'm like, wow, this is garbage. But you know, I'm glad for that guy, because you know he's showing up again. Like, he's so important to the Power Rangers universe. He's gonna get money, and people are gonna be like, "Yeah, it's him again." Oh, I knocked my headphones off. But yeah, I don't care. I don't care unless I see something that's like, yeah, this looks dope, because this stuff looks fantastic, just isn't. And I think that's for your cute tactics.
How about you, T?
Yeah, so I kind of care, but not really. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, I grew up on Power Rangers. Like, that was my shit. But I eventually checked out when they started getting into like Alien Rangers. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with this. So yeah, so I kind of broke out of it a little bit. But then when they introduced this series, I was pretty curious, because it did, like Darcy was saying, it looked great. It just ended up being complete trash. So that was unfortunate. But I know they'll never do this, but they did do a I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to watch the fan film. There was like a fan film that was made by it was led by the guy from Dawson's Creek, Dawson, the guy who played
James
Dawson.
Vanderbeek.
And yeah. So they did this fan film, which it was like a darker take on the Power Rangers, and it was fucking fantastic. I was like, we'll never get a Power Rangers movie like this. And I feel like the one that we got previously was trying to get to that point without it being rated R, because this one, the fan-made movie, or the fan-made trailer, was very much like X-rated. Like the Black Ranger, he like became an alcoholic, and he had all these like hoes in his hotel room, and then like these like mafia guys broke into his hotel room and tried to kill him and shit. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? So it was crazy, man. But I don't think they'll ever get it to that point, because Power Rangers, of course, is catered to kids. And you know, that's where the money is for them, right? Because no adult is gonna take Power Rangers seriously, right? So that's unfortunate. So that's kind of why I'm like, maybe they have the potential to be good, but probably not, because they're gonna pretty much water it down. But I think Power Rangers is still running strong. Like, it's still like they just keep renewing it, because
people
you can
still
keep,
watching.
yeah, people are still watching it and stuff like that. It's still a pretty lucrative franchise, right? So I mean, in terms of them building their own kind of MCU-esque universe around this, I think it's a great idea. Like Darcy was saying, it's great from a marketing perspective. I think they can generate a lot of money from it. And like, obviously, if they're going to be doing something like this that caters to kids, they're also going to look into selling toys, which is going to be marketable as well. So it's a great idea. Is it going to be from if is it going to be for me or for us? Like I don't really see that happening based off of the last movie. So yeah, but from a financial standpoint, I think it's a great idea, and good on them.
For me, I'll just say that like I could not care less. Like I'm done with the series. I hated the movie. I thought the movie was like I didn't think the movie was going to be good, but I held out hope. But like when I watched it, I'm like, this is some bullshit. And this like I agree. I love the rated R version, and if they decide to do that, I'm in for that. However, I don't think they're going to do it, and I'm kind of done with Power Rangers. I'm ready to move on. Like that's the chapter I'm ready to close for me. So.
Yeah. Fun fact: 28 seasons with 21 different themes. Yeah, you checked out somewhere very early on.
Yeah, I think they did Alien Rangers in like their 5th season or something like that. Like first they did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and they did Turbo, and then they started introducing the Alien Rangers, and then yeah, it got weird from there. So I was like, nah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, moving on in all aspects. So the next topic is the next topic has to do with an upcoming MCU film that personally I'm very excited for. And I would be surprised if you guys are not. It is the MCU's version of Blade. And we have been told that aside from Marsha Ali being cast as Blade, of course, we get Delroy Lindo, the man right there, who's also joined in the cast. We don't know for what role. I'm wondering if they're going to do him as Whistler, but again, we don't know. But yeah, I'm actually getting kind of excited for this film. And Marsha Ali is getting a lot of respect. Like, I mean, even Wesley Snipes is like supporting him in this. And what I also found out was that Boseman Tariq, or I should say his name, Boseman Tariq, he is directing Blade, and he's a Pakistani-born director. So like Phase 4 is all about the diversity, like both in front and also behind the scenes. So respect on that. But I wanted to get like kind of like use this as a segue to be like, what like are you guys, even though we're like super early on, but are you guys actually getting excited for Blade, or are you guys like, I just need to see something first? So T, let's start with you.
Yeah, I kind of need to see something first because I still have the image of Wesley Snipes playing Blade, so it's hard for me to kind of forget the phenomenal job he did with that character. Setting aside the third film, I feel like what they're going to be doing, especially considering that this is going to be tying into the MCU and the universe that they've established, I think it can be. I think it's going to be great, especially with Kevin Feige at the helm. So I am curious and intrigued to see where they go with it. But yeah, I kind of need to see a trailer to kind of etch out the memory that I had of Wesley Snipes and his portrayal of Blade, because he did such a great job. Like Blade, I feel like was ahead of his time. Especially the second one, man. The second one is so good.
I prefer the first one over the second one.
Yeah, no, I like the second one. The first one's good. But yeah, I just enjoy the second one because I like the villain, and I like the villains, right? But I like that whole thing. But yeah, I'm actually curious, and actually, oh wait, actually no, never mind. I was gonna say because now that what's his name? The other vampire guy that's coming out, the Morbius. Yeah. I because I don't know if you guys saw the deleted scene of the first Blade movie where Morbius shows up at the end, and he was supposed to actually be the main villain for the second movie, but I think they switched directors and they ended up scrapping the idea altogether. But I realized that Morbius is actually is from Sony, so I don't see that happening.
We will have to see if they're going to connect it or not.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool, but I mean, I feel like it'd be a missed opportunity if they didn't. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I feel like I have to see a trailer of some sort before I can like really get on. Like I'm already on board, but to get amped for it more than I am already, then yeah, I definitely need to see a trailer first.
How about you, Darcy?
On board, this isn't making my excitement go any higher. You know, since it was announced, it was like, yo, that sounds dope. But like Tactics, you guys see something interesting fact, because I was just looking up because you said Whistler, Delroy's height is 6'3", and Mahershala Ali is edging 6'2", so like he's 6'1.5". So the only reason I call it out is like, I mean, he could absolutely play Whistler from like a acting perspective, but I'm like, is he almost so opposing physically that he like looks like he's more opposing than Mahershala Ali would look like as Blade? I mean, and I still have the old image in my head of like the complete opposite in how like opposing look, because he just like he does look more opposing physically. But at the same time, that also leads it up to be that if he is Whistler, he can handle his business when it comes down to it, right? And then, well, this Blade, just like that potential Blade, just looks like he'd be a smooth motherfucker. Just like he don't look like he's gonna be as torn as like as the Wesley Snipes one. He looked like he'd be more in control. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were to do one that's like less origin-y and more like, you know, oh, I can't control my powers. Like he's in more control. There is that weakness, and they would have times where that could be exposed to a villain's benefit. But I get the feeling he'd be more composed and more assured of himself. Because I feel like that's what Mahershala Ali brings to a character, and I feel like that could be a very interesting Blade, especially if you want to bring in like the vampire universe, and instead of it being like they're coming up out of nowhere, it's more like this is a part of the world you didn't even pay attention to, or it crossed in because of some multiverse stuff, and it's like, yeah, but this is established. This ain't brand new to us. Like it's new to you, it ain't new to us. So I don't know. I just that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, like the MCU has already started leaving hints that vampires already exist. And
in what?
Well, in Loki for one, and also in what you call it, What If.
True.
So, but okay, I'm going to say this as carefully as I can. But for those of you watching who have seen Eternals, there is a end credit scene that does, in some forms, have more answers to the line of questioning you were just talking about, Darcy, about like is this something that just comes out of nowhere, or is this something that's a part of like the multiverse? So since Darcy hasn't seen Eternals, that's all I'm going to say.
What? Why did you pitch this to me? This give me more motivation to go see this movie than I already have.
and then I'm going to also call out my bro Tactix for
I knew that was coming.
Theater before the scene went on.
So yeah, basically, both of us haven't seen the scene.
It was an amateur. No, I eventually saw it on YouTube, but it was an amateur move on my part. We left early after the end credits. We saw the first one. We saw the first one, but then we left afterwards. And there was another one that was very important. Right. Very important to future stories. So yeah.
So on that note, moving on. So our next topic is a kind of like our version of fan casting. So there are rumors that Will Smith is currently in talks with Kevin Feige about a role in the MCU in like phase 4 or who knows in phase 5. Nonetheless, this has resulted in quite a few people being excited, and also like us, you know, we all three of us are big fans of Will, and also we've recently all three of us has fully watched his YouTube show called The Best Shape of My Life,
and read his book.
Well, I haven't gone that far, but like, yeah,
in the process,
we got more fans up there. Anyway, I wanted to ask the two of you, if you were going to choose a role for Will to play, what role would that be? Now, I do want to put a caveat. I don't want you to limit. You don't have to limit it to just black roles. It can be like a role that is white or Asian, but you make him black character, that sort of thing. But nonetheless, who would you cast? Darcy, let's start with you.
Nah, don't start with me. I ain't ready for this. I had a long week.
Bro, I didn't even know we were doing this, yo.
I'll start.
Okay. Okay, yeah. You go.
You want you okay? Fine. All right. I have been thinking long and hard, and then I actually stopped and I was like, wait, hold up. If I really wanted to see Will do like a meaningful role, I actually would want him to play Miles Morales' father.
I did not think you were gonna go there,
I
especially after
didn't
you
think
said
you would.
you don't have to lock it into like black characters.
I know. But like the reason why I chose it was because like because after watching Into the Spider-Verse, I loved his dad in Into the Spider-Verse. I know Will could play that role, but also after watching him in The Best Shape of My Life, I wanted to see him as not someone who's like a superhero or a supervillain, but like as someone who is loving and supporting as a father and is the reason why the hero is the way he is and has us like a strong father-son relationship. And I can see him being a character that would inspire Miles to be Spider-Man.
The reason why I don't see it is because I don't see Will taking such a backseat role like that. I feel like he would want to be front and center or someone like equally important to the hero.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's too much of a, not to shit on your choice. I agree with you. I think he could definitely play a role because we've seen him in a parental role before. I just feel like, especially after reading his book, although he had some revelations near the end of the book, he's got a bit of an ego in the sense of like, you know, he wants to be the show, you know what I mean? So I feel like he would want to be more front and center than just play a supporting character.
Okay, but like nonetheless, that is my submission.
Cool.
So who wants to go? Who's ready now?
Oh, just one. Okay. I'll go.
Hold up. Before we move on.
Go. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Move on.
Slow it down.
I'm gonna give Tactix a minute. I'm gonna give Tactix a minute. Umar, like I feel you. I agree with everything Tactix said. Like he would kill that role, but he definitely doesn't want to be some supporting character. So I'm gonna put it back to you, Umar,
for more time.
What he absolutely. What
he didn't understand the assignment.
Yeah. What hero role would you cast him into? Because I want to know what that casting is from you.
Only hero?
Yeah,
only hero?
Like yeah, so anywhere in Marvel, just giant universe, doesn't matter, even if it's gonna technically be under Sony's thing. But what he has to be, well, sorry, hero or villain, if you want to put a villain. I just mean he has to be a powered character because based on what Will said, that has longevity. That's going to be, when he's on screen, a big and important character and will be able to be in multiple films over a longer period of time. So, like, what role would you put him in there?
I got 3.
Oh, I actually... Okay, this is definitely changing a white character to a black one.
He's gonna take my
Sentry.
Okay, I don't know who the fuck that is. He didn't take mine.
You know,
oh man, T-Man. Sorry,
I thought you were going one way and you went way left, so I was like, all right, I'm safe.
Oh no, the Sentry. Because it's kind of like, I guess it's the Hancock aspect of it. I went with like a Superman type, and like Sentry is like the Marvel Universe's version of Superman. It just, he has mental issues. So showing Will as the Sentry, it would be like an anti-hero character, but also one that like he's overcoming mental health issues. Because like again, best shape of my life.
That picture's amazing.
Okay, so I've given you both enough time. So T, you go first.
Okay, so
hold on, Courtney has something she wants to say. I think Gambit would be cool, but
did he freeze again? Umar.
Yeah, our man is frozen.
Okay. So
Maybe
Courtney says, I think Gambit would be cool, but it's not like they'd have him in a regular Marvel movie outside of X-Men. Yes, yeah, that's true. I feel like he'd have to be introduced in an X-Men film first because well, I feel like Gambit's a well-known enough character, but I don't see him being strong enough to like do like a standalone film. What
I
do you
don't know.
think?
Will could take Gambit to a standalone film, and there's also the New Orleans aspect of Gambit too that also suits
I'm back.
him switching
Sorry.
into. Yeah, we're talking about the whole him playing Gambit role. You know, the one thing I will say is that the fact that Gambit's got like that French New Orleans thing going on, that would also play really well as a black character because how there's such a high black population there that it's like that suave thing, and that'd be a fun accent to see come out of Will if he kills it. If he doesn't, then it's going to be horrible.
I like that idea. The only thing is, Gambit, he's a bit old to play Gambit, but like, who knows? Anyway, T, your submissions.
Okay, so I'm not in love with this first pick, but Silver Surfer.
Okay.
And then the next one would be Reed Richards. And then
I love that. I love that.
My last one would be Scott Summers.
He's a little old for Scott.
Yeah.
No, but your Reed Richards, I think that's hitting it on the nail right there.
Interesting. You really see him pulling off like the scientist?
He can.
Oh yeah.
And also he's the perfect age for it. And also I can see him like his humor can also be done in like a smart, like him being like smart way, but also like a kind of like subdued. Like he has great range, and I think out of all three, I actually prefer Reed Richards out of this because that would be such a unique choice.
And he kind of played a scientist in I Am Legend.
Yeah.
And I agree with Umar. He definitely does have range. I saw a video on TikTok where there was a debate between who was a better actor, Denzel Washington or Will Smith, and it caused a lot of controversy actually because the debate was split.
Yeah, that would be a hard one for me to argue.
Well, one guy made a really good argument saying that Denzel Washington is he's definitely top tier, but Will Smith has more range because he's been in a lot more variety of movies, right? Like he's played a fish, he's done I Am Legend, he's fought aliens, he's done all these kinds of things, whereas Denzel, he sticks to very specific like roles. A lot of his movies are based on dramas, right? And his action films don't really do quite as well, minus Training Day, of course. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Darcy, I think you've had more than enough time.
I've had more than enough time, and I can't find the freaking name of the superhero that I keep looking up. I don't know why I have this one character in my head. And I can't think of the name. Okay, so you know in Guardians of the Galaxy when they go to that one planet very early on, they're getting arrested.
Yeah.
What is the name of that freaking planet? What is that race of people? What?
The Nova Corps?
Yeah, Nova
The
something.
Kree?
What?
You want him to be? Okay, hold on. I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead and say what you're saying. Nova, Marvel. I'm trying to see if that was the one. I don't know why. The what is his name?
Ronan?
Is Umar frozen? No. Nova. Is his name Nova?
Yeah, it's Nova. Just straight up Nova.
Okay, because I'm thinking about like a different variation where I felt his name was different. I don't know why I keep looking at Nova and go him, and I don't even know if it makes any sense. It's just literally for some odd reason. I don't know, but that's it. Because I didn't prepare. So
yeah, hold on. How did you not prepare? I told you about this. We talked about it.
Do you not remember my story pre this thing where I said I had to lift 4,000 pounds of closets one night?
Fair,
I've
fair.
literally just worked every night until I went to sleep. I have not had time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Nonetheless, I like the submission. It's random, but I mean, why not? Like, it's not one of the things where people are like, no. I just be like, cool, okay.
Yeah.
So, Miles Morales, Miles Morales' father, Sentry, Gambit. Thank you for that, Courtney. We got Nova. We got Silver Surfer, Reed Richards, which personally I think it's that's my favorite out of all of our suggestions, including my own, and Scott Scumbers. Cool, not bad. We've given Will quite a few options. All right, and moving on to our last topic, which is a controversial one. Now, as we've talked about at length, in fact, we have an entire episode devoted to him. The late Chadwick Boseman passed away, and therefore Black Panther has the head of Marvel has said they will not be recasting Black Panther. That T'Challa will not be recasted, and Chadwick is T'Challa. He's Black Panther. Now, then Darcy made me aware of an online petition, which I thought was like a small thing, but a couple thousand signatures. Basically, people trying to petition that no, please recast Black Panther with a different actor. And at first, I was like, oh well, whatever. But then I was searching, and then also Darcy sent me some more things. And as we were all finding aware, there's a legitimate stance that we yes, everything Chadwick did was fantastic, and we will love him forever for it. However, T'Challa is such an important character because there are so few Black superheroes that denying recasting the role is a disservice to representation for the Black community. I hadn't thought of it that way, to be honest. I still feel that it's too soon to recast T'Challa. However, I want to open this up to you guys. What do you think? And Darcy, let's start with you because this is something you brought to me, so I'm interested because you said you would let me know when the podcast happens.
Yeah, so it's a very conflicting thing. It's right down the middle, and I have a thought as you were talking that I'm like, there is a very letter of the law way that they could do both of what they said, which is not recast him and still have T'Challa.
Multiverse?
Yeah, exactly. It's always the freaking multiverse. But literally, what if there was a T'Challa just came from a different universe and it's a completely different character? Like a completely different actor. But the story was different. But we still get the same regalness of that importance of that character. Because if we were to have T'Challa come back, that's how I'd want it. I wouldn't want literally just it's the same one in the same storyline and it just looks completely different. I just always forgetting the fact respect Chadwick Boseman and everything he's done. I just don't like that in general, right? I didn't like it when Aunt Viv got recast, and I haven't liked it since. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like Dumbledore getting recast. We couldn't stop it. Now, granted, Aunt Viv didn't die, and they didn't have to recast her. They just did because of politics. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing for me with Dumbledore is I never noticed. I didn't even know this until you started talking about this in podcasts. I was like, oh, it's not the same guy. Cool. That's how much I pay attention. But yeah, for me, I definitely just wouldn't want I'd want a new T'Challa.
I was happy when Don Cheadle got recast. When Terrence Howard got recast with Don Cheadle.
And that shows you how much of a good job the other one was doing. Because actually that one didn't bother me at like at all. Like I like Terrence sometimes, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes I hate him. And
What you
I
talking
had
about, man? Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
No, that was well timed. That was perfect. Like, but honestly, like between the two, like seeing him in the suit, I could not see the impersonation that Tactix just did in a suit, like in like the actual like military armor. And to
You
be
ready for this,
fair,
man?
yeah.
Next time, baby.
I'm not gonna try this. Um, but wow. But like, don't you actually feels more like somebody out of the military than Terrence did,
Yeah.
right? But it wasn't like Terrence did a horrible job, but he was forgettable along with many of the characters in that first film. He was just forgettable, and enough that Donchio came in, you're like, cool. Right? Like you're just like you walked in and it was like the first time you saw him, you're like, cool. Like it just didn't even phase me. But yeah, T'Challa would not be the same story. So like I would rather have a T'Challa. I don't have a problem with there being another T'Challa as long as it's an introduction to a new character that does not feel like it's a replacement, but an alternation of that version. If they were to just straight up recast it, I just feel like I would struggle with that from like a believability and comparison perspective. But I agree that yes, it does reduce the representation and it does reduce the representation of a character that fundamentally showed intelligence, grace, and power and fierceness and so many things that were positive for the Black community in the overall perspective of the world. It broke down walls with like, the perception of like, just people having negative perceptions of Black people in different ways and just not being able to see them in certain light, and him being that regal, that everything. You do need to bring that back. So I would love another person to have a similar but slightly different version with a different story, but that brings back that power again. But not just a swap and replace and it's the same storyline. That's going to be rough for me for at least 2 films.
T.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with both of you. Almost to the point where I don't even really want to see a Black Panther 2. I feel like after Chadwick died, it like my excitement level for it kind of died with him. And I feel like the way they ended things, it doesn't set up anything pivotal that I feel would be lost had if they carry on with the MCU and this whole phase without Black Panther. Yeah, of course, like, Black Panther is a cool character and the representation is there and very much appreciated and needed. But at the same time, I feel like without Chadwick, even if you do, I think if given the choice, I think Darcy's idea would work best because it pleases both parties. Because I agree with the argument that people are saying in terms of having to recast him, but I also agree with both you Umar and Darcy that it kind of taints the character and it'll be hard for us to kind of separate Chadwick from the role if it's given to somebody else. Like we're always going to just and it puts a lot of pressure on whoever tries to fill those shoes, because at the end of the day it's like, it's like someone trying to fill the shoes of Heath Ledger's Joker in that same universe, right? And to that point, I think I read somewhere that Christopher Nolan was actually he actually wanted to bring the Joker back in a not even in a cameo, like he wanted to have a pivotal role in the third film, but opted out of it because of the tragedy of us losing Heath Ledger. So rather than recasting, he just scrapped the whole idea altogether. And I think it would be a similar thing, and in a much grander scale, because Heath Ledger was secondary character, right? A supporting character. Whereas,
Yeah.
you know, he like Chadwick was the main guy, right? He's the one that we
He was a
focus
star.
on the most. He's a star. He's the one that we go to see, right? And now when you replace that, it's kind of like an element of the character is now lost. It's missing. And so for me personally, if we never see another Black Panther movie anytime soon within this phase, I'd be okay with it. I don't need it. I would have been excited had we still had Chadwick around, but now it's my interest level has gone way down. So I
We
don't
got
want.
what ifs.
Yeah, what ifs are fine, but I don't want to see Shiri don the mantle. I don't want to. I don't really care to have him be replaced by another actor, at least not right now. Yeah, so I'm good. I'm good right now.
Okay. All right then. Well, let me ask you fans or viewers, would you want Chadwick to be recast, or shall he, for now or forever, not be recast? Leave a comment like below, or if you're watching, make a comment right now. Nonetheless, I'm going to pass it back to you, T, for our final moments.
All right. Well, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. Thank you all for watching. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and live long and prosper, y'all.